Johnny boy, it's week 6. It's week 6. That was the Priest rule with sitting ducks. The intro every single week gets me fired up, and I made John play it. He tried a couple weeks of not playing it.
Nah, it's not the same, is it?
No, we're air drumming the whole time. It's we need
which is good at it, good content.
Anyway, like and subscribe. If you've been following along, you've been making money, and that's what's important here, isn't it, John?
I think we were just talking about this. I'm killing the early slate. But the late slate, the afternoon games, they're getting me.
Yeah, John. You've been doing this for how many years? You've been doing this? We've been friends the entire time.
I want to say 6 years now.
6 years. And I would say probably in the last 3 or 4 years, you've delved into stats with all of this.
Closely, yeah. Tracking it closely.
I do not know how you don't have a stat for prime time versus normal refereed games.
Yeah, I know. Look, there's always more to build on. We're building slowly. Speaking of your picks, let's jump into it because I want to see a couple of picks you got. I've got a couple of picks this week. I'm not sure. I feel like the issue with this week 6 slate, there's too many good options. Do you know what I mean? And I'm suspect of that.
I am too. I told you before the show, I said, I think I'm going to have to hone in here because I have a plethora, and I don't normally have a plethora. I usually go in, shoot 4, 5, and I go, that's what's up. I also feel like I was a little bit early last week on a couple of the picks, and I don't really want to go down the road of just picking them again, but I probably will.
Yeah. I feel we're going to hit. I'm looking at these stats that I'm tracking. So for those who have been watching for a long time, for any new viewers of the show, I have this model where I go and lay out all the prop lines, every player's prop lines for the week. And then it's a really simple formula. It's, did they get it or did they not? And that's kind of a bit sort of one-dimensional.
Can you share it? Can you share it on the screen?
I'll put it up on the screen. Yeah. But then what it is actually really good for informing is actually how defenses perform. Some teams who are good at stopping wide receiver ones, good at, or bad against the run. What I've noticed this season, going 5 weeks in, there's an abnormally amount of bad teams at stopping the run. A lot of running backs are having success this season. And I think Why do you think
that is?
If I had to guess, I think it's because a lot of teams are selling out to stop explosive plays from receivers, because receivers and quarterbacks particularly, quarterbacks are down this season, but run defense is bad. So running is up. So I'm guessing it's because of the too high safety look. And there's less stacked boxes typically.
The entire NFL had shifted to passing.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of running back picks again.
Yeah, it's cyclical, man. It's cyclical,
yeah,
and the NFL is cyclical. And you're watching teams start powering up. They're grabbing 2 running backs. They're going with a stable of 3. It's not even a single lead back anymore.
That's it.
I look at the Jacksonville game, and everything that I like in that. Everything I like about that game is just all running backs.
Yeah,
and there's so many that are popping up like that,
and I like both of them
because the draft process has been it, and it takes years for that to flush out. And then next thing you know, we're going to be seeing AJ Hawk again out and playing linebacker. You're going to start to see bigger linebackers stuff in the box, and then once that starts happening, the offenses start shifting. You got to find ways to capitalize. And now running the football, that is the capital.
But you're right. Think about it. It's like Bijan and Tyler Algier. It's Chase Brown, Zach Moss. It's Rico Dowdle, Zeke. It's Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery. It's they're all these split backfields. And Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, we will take a look at for this week because, it's kind of crazy. Ty Chandler outrushed Aaron Jones last week in the London game. That was crazy. Did not see that coming.
I don't think it's an anomaly. Like you're seeing it, you ride the hot hand too, right?
Look at
Well,
Breece Hall and Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen's an absolute monster, though.
That's a crazy outcome though. Bucky, Irving, Rashad White, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler. Like Austin Eckler's having a phenomenal season, low key.
Rushing too, which I don't think anyone expected. Everyone expected him to get to be the satellite back that he's always been, but he's having a great rushing campaign.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into it. Where do you want to start with this slate?
Well, I mean, we may as well start at the earliest game, right?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, because we both got picks.
In North America, we're going to wake up and it's going to be Christmas morning on Sunday, and it's 9:30 start. Is that what it is? 9:30 start time.
Will be for you.
Yeah, we've got the Jags.
1 a.m. for me.
Gross, man. Gross.
Yeah.
We got.
Let's start with the London game.
Okay. Well, I mean, on the note of running backs, one of my picks is in this game, and it's not the RB1 for the Jags. It's the RB2. And I saw a juicy line of Tank Bigsby at 38.5 rush yards.
Yep. I saw that.
And to me, I want to start my Sunday hot. I want my first pick to hit if I've got a parlay, and I'm going to move the alt line on Tank Bigsby. I'm going to move that down to, if I can get it at 30.5, I'm going to move Tank Bigsby's line to 30.5 if I can do it. And that's my pick. Alt line, Tank Bigsby, 30.5 rushing yards. Just book it. That's it. I had to do the first one right away.
So this is also one of my picks, but I'm a little bit less sure about who it's going to be than you are. In fact, I would not be surprised if both Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby hit their rushing props.
They're both going to.
It was weird last week to see Travis Etienne on the sideline for most of the game. Now, Jags claimed that he had a shoulder injury. I don't know, man. He had his helmet on the sideline there, and he's pacing back and forth. He's looking like he's ready to come back in at any moment. And I think that the Jags, they're a dumpster fire at the moment. I think that they've just been riding the hot hand. And it was finally like Tank Bigsby's breakout game. It's taken, a year and a half to get here? But I think we're finally here with that.
You've been banging a drum.
But Tank? No, man, I'm anti-Tank.
What? Last year you were all about Tank.
No, man. Why do you think I've had Travis Etienne in Dynasty for so long? I think Tank Bigsby's a really average running back. I thought when he was at Auburn, I didn't see anything flashy from him. I think the only reason people liked him coming out of the draft is because that particular running back draft class was pretty subpar. So,
well, I've just shown the world that I truly don't know you as a friend. I'm sorry, John.
I think that's fine. I like so many people, it's hard to keep up with them all. But look. Let's look at this game. So I think that the safer way to play this is Tank Bigsby, but I also still like Travis Etienne. Now, Etienne last week, 6 rushes for 17 yards. He had 6 catches for 43 yards.
That was abnormal.
Can't work out the Jag. I think that the Jags want to run the ball through Tank Bigsby, though. So let's take a quick look at this Bears defense, though, because they've been one of the best in the league. And we said this in the offseason, in our offseason previews and team previews. Bears are going to be very good, but against the run, they've been pretty bad. So every single week, a running back has had success, except for Joe Mixon in week 2. And I think pretty sure that's because he got injured in that game. So
correct, yeah.
Jonathan Taylor's been really good. Kyron Williams had a really good game against them. Chuba as well last week. He had a great game against them. And Tony Pollard, who's been very good. And so, I mean, again, I'm not full of confidence with Tank Bigsby. It is a London game, but I think if I'm going to play it anyway, this is the way I want to play it. Do you have any more picks from this game?
I am because I have
another one I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm playing with fire by suggesting this out loud because it hit so miraculously.
Yeah.
But I also really like DeAndre Swift in this game.
Oh, okay. That's not the way I was going to play this, but
I do. I do. I really like Swift in this game, especially because they have a line under, like it's sub 50. It was like 43 or 44.5 when I last saw it. and I've been reluctant to pull the trigger on it, but I do like it. And there's I like I like most of his lines in this except for the 3 catches. Um I'd be tempted to take the longest rush. John, can you pull up what the longest rush is?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I'm a
Longest
little
rush is still sitting around 13 and a half for DeAndre Swift. Tank Bigsby's got 13 and a half as well.
Both of them seem a little long. I take it back. If
Well,
the rush
Swift has been sitting around 12 and a half all season, and he's got it 3 times and gone under twice. So he's 50-50.
What's his rushing? Are his rushing attempts around 12?
Yeah, usually they're sitting around 11 and a half.
Yeah.
This week it is 13 and a half.
No,
Frick, it's 14 and a half on
People
FanDuel.
are catching on. People are catching on.
You're going to have to let that one go, man.
So I am. But so here, let's just put it this way. This is how you can analyze a pick like this. So they've got him sitting around like 40. What is it that you're looking at right there? I saw it earlier today around like 43 and a half.
Rushing yards, he's up to 50.
He's up to 50. You could take the alt line, and I might do the alt line on both the rushers, and that would put him down to around 43. And if that's the case, they're expecting him to run the ball 13 times. What is his average? So look at the last game. What was his average yards per carry?
So yards per carry last week was his 3.4 yards a carry, and against the Rams, he was 5.8 yards per carry, and that was on 16 rush attempts. 21 rush attempts he had last week.
Yeah, so that's a lot of rush attempts. So that number can get a little skewed, right? If he's trying to bang one in at the goal line and he's minus.
And he's not a ground and pound running back.
No, he's not.
So that's pretty impressive.
We'll average somewhere in there about 4.3.
Yeah.
So if you're going to average 4.3 and he's going to rush 13 times, do the math. So it's pretty good. So I think safely at 42, 43 on the alt line, I would be very content. Very, very, very content taking him alt rushing. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my pick for the morning. I am going to do the parlay. I'm going to do both running backs. I'm going to do Tank Bigsby over 33 and a half rush yards. I think that's what it was, something like that. And take Tank Bigsby over 33 and a half rush yards, and I'm going to take the alt line DeAndre Swift down to 42 rush yards. And that's going to be the parlay for the morning. And I'm going to set my morning off when I get up and I'm having coffee and those both hit. I'm going to feel real good.
I miss those days.
Real good.
If I could just touch on the Jags defense, they've actually been one of the better teams against the run. They've managed to stop it pretty much most weeks. They actually had a tough week last week against Trey Sermon, of all players. James Cook couldn't get there. Cam Akers, you know what? They actually haven't played any real decent running backs. Achan didn't get there, but he's sort of more dynamic pass catcher.
They didn't get there, but getting there is to their line. Getting there is not to 40 yards. And that's what I'm saying. It's like 40 yards is when you have a player like DeAndre Swift, if he breaks one loose, that's 18, 19 yards.
Yeah.
And he's not going to do the house call too many times, but I think give or take, he's going to have 2 fairly long rushes, like around 10 yards, 11 yards. And that eliminates half of the yardage that you need. Now you just need him, on 11 rush attempts, you need him basically to hit another 20 yards then. And to me, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's just simple math for me. So I am going with DeAndre Swift over.
Nice, man. The other way I wanted to look at this. So I'm interested in Brian Thomas in this spot. He's up to 55 and a half, but I'm interested in taking the under.
What?
Is super risky, but he's gone over his prop lines every single week, so there's no reason to believe he won't. But now, he had 122 yards last week against Indy. Cornerbacks, not great. That was a big shootout game. He did play well against Houston, and they do have some good corners in Jalen Petrie and, freaking guy, I always forget his name. Their first round pick from a couple of years ago.
John, stay off this pick. Don't do it. It's
I'm,
dangerous.
I'm not picking this. I'm not picking this, but I'm interested in going against the grain here. I think that Jalen Johnson is one of the best shutdown corners in the league, and he has been proving to be that again. He got paid in the offseason. He's been really, really good. So I think it's undoubted that like this is Brian Thomas's team. Like he is sort of emerging as the number one receiver on the team, and he is smashing a lot of records. It's like because of Malik Neighbors, you probably wouldn't notice, but Brian Thomas has been just as good. I just think that this is going to be like a hey rookie, welcome to the NFL type game for him.
What's Lawrence's line for passing yards?
Let's have a look at Trevor because he has been pretty low the last few weeks. He's up to 230 is what you can get him. 232 on BetMGM. Caleb Williams 240.
Who's going to account for that 230?
So Christian Kirk still has a line of 45.5. Maybe if Evan Ingram can come back in, he's been just dealing with injuries all season long, which has been killing my fantasy team. I'm taking a quick look at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has had a line of 220 every single week. He is yet, except for last week, he's been bad this season, man. He's been really bad. He had 371 passing yards last week. And of course, Brian Thomas went off. But again, against Indy, this is a different team. It's Bears. It's in London. There's a few things going against it.
He's hit the unders a whack of times. And you said he's yet to go over his passing?
He did. Yeah, he did last week.
Brian Thomas has still managed to go over most weeks.
Every week.
Even with Lawrence.
Yeah.
Going under on all of his.
Yeah, but that's because Christian Kirk has been the one who's been suffering because of that. Now, he's been good the last 3 weeks, but there's also been no Evan Ingram as well. Gabe Davis has been like flashy at times. So, yeah.
And you said last week, an anomaly with ETN getting 40-something yards. Like, he's good for maybe 20.
Yeah.
Maybe 20.
Yeah. So all around, it was just a weird game.
It is a weird game. I don't feel like it's going to be a ton of passing. I don't. I think they're going to warm this game up. I think it's going to start going. Like by the time it gets to the fourth quarter, I think the ball is going to be in the air. But I think it's going to take a little while to get there. I still danger, John. Red flags going off my brain.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not taking, like I said, not taking this pick. I'm just interested in it because Brian Thomas has been really good. He's gone over his prop lines every single week, and this strikes me as a letdown spot.
If this hits, I apologize for so much in life.
I just like Jalen Johnson and Jaquan Brisker are so good this year, and and Kevin Byard, did they bring over from the Titans as well? Like those three, via the Eagles, those three have been like phenomenal shutdown corners, and Bears play well. Again, it's just the London vibe. We'll see. All right, let's jump to our next game here.
Yeah, do you have any other picks for that, or are you just on Tank?
I'm going to be honest. So, that was the other thing. So, if you want to play this really smart, both the running backs are getting a rush attempts line of 8.5. You can play the over on both of them and feel completely comfortable with that.
I like that. That's a half. They're going to get that at the half.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing, and it's in London. So, an easy end, if you think about like previous years' London games, he's actually been really, really good in those games if you go back and look. So that's another interesting way to play it. Let's finish up there. Is that we're done with that game?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I want to start my first pick. Well, I guess second pick now. Next game I want to move to is the Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens.
You are sold. You're so sold,
mate. Is this game?
You're so sold.
Is this game of the year?
Game of the year, he says.
Hear what I'm saying.
It's exciting. It's a very exciting time to be a Washington Commander fan.
Yeah.
And a Ravens fan.
I was giving their defense a lot of shit for the first few weeks. And I was saying like, we want to pick on them. Hey man, they've been actually not too bad.
That whole team is just hyped. They're excited. They smell.
Yeah.
They're a team. They're playing like a team right now. You don't want to get in the way of that train coming down the tracks.
No, man.
You don't. This is a tough battle for them. In Baltimore, too. This is a tough game.
How far do they live from Baltimore? Isn't it like 45 minutes? Isn't there that thing
Doesn't
that, like,
matter.
No, isn't there that thing that the rate, so like FedEx Field or whatever it's called now, I'm sorry, I can't remember, is closer to the Ravens training facility than like their own training facility or something like that? Isn't it like these two teams, they live like next to each other? Yeah. So I don't think home field advantage is going to be much of a thing in this game. There is no travel.
Yeah, there's not a lot of travel, and sometimes it's not about the travel. It's just about the noise, right? Like it's different. It's different when you're in the stadium, right?
But you can see a lot of Washington fans have come out of the caves that they've been living in for the last couple of years, and I think that they're going to show up to this game. I think they're going to show up. This is the game they want to win. This
excited since RG3 was drafted.
Hell yeah, man!
Like this is exciting.
The hype content has been beautiful, and look, I'm all in, man. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I tried to acquire Jaden Daniels in Dynasty before didn't come through. Ravens, they've been bad against receiver ones, and if there's one thing that they've been really bad at that I've been tracking this year, it's longest reception. Every single player, every single receiver one for every team that the Ravens have played, and they've played some fucking good teams as well, but they've all gone over their longest receptions line. So explosive plays, you're getting them on the Ravens. So Rashee Rice got his, Devonta Adams got his, CeeDee Lamb got his, Khalil Shakir got his, and Jamar Chase got his. So I've just named some incredible receivers there.
Hey, T-Mac is that dude, though. He's
but you know who else is one of those incredible receivers and low-key, probably one of the most underrated receivers to ever come out of Ohio State? It is Terry McLaurin. So this link up that he's got with Jaden Daniels, these explosive plays that Jaden Daniels, these bombs that are going down the field, I'm all about them. They finally got going, and it hasn't taken Jaden Daniels. So Jaden Reed's another pick coming up too long. Jaden Daniels had a line of 220 every single week. His longest pass has been 33 and a half, and he's got that sort of 3 of the last 4 weeks. So given the Ravens, they're not very good against explosive plays. Jaden Daniels loves to throw the ball deep. I'm all about it. So Terry McLaurin, he's at 58 and a half receiving yards on BetMGM. He's got a longest receptions line of 24 and a half. Love both of those, man. It's gone up from 20 to 24.
People are on it. That is awesome. I still like it, though. I do.
Yeah, actually, you know what? 24 and a half, 25 is a lot. I'm just going to let me stick with the receptions. That's a lot. 58 and a half receiving yards of Terry McLaurin going over this week against the Ravens. Get fired up.
Book it, buddy. Book it.
Hell yeah. Give me your thoughts on Jaden Daniels, that pick, Terry McLaurin. How are you feeling about this game?
Dude, I mean, they've been blowing my mind. This team has been superseding all expectations. They're fun to watch. I don't have a lot of negative things to say. And I love the pick. I think it's a great pick. I like Eckler in this game.
I was going to say, I can't see any lines for him, though.
I didn't see a line, so it makes me feel like, is he injured? Like, is something going on?
He must be questionable. I can't find anything. Also, I can't find any Brian Robinson either.
Yeah, if Eckler shows up at game time for this,
over.
I would take the over 20 yards or whatever they're going to give him on the receiving. I also kind of like De'Ami Brown.
Okay.
And I don't know what they're giving him right now, but anything over, like, if it's going to be like 11 yards or something like that.
It's usually about 15 and a half. He's usually good for that as well.
Yeah, I feel like 15 yards. Okay, so 15. I would take that. I'd happily take that. If I'm looking to lay some juice on this game because I'm excited to watch it, which I might be. This isn't one of my picks, but if I'm looking to lay some juice, I want to sweat a little bit for a guy that's only going to get two balls thrown to him.
You love the sweat. Though.
I love the sweat. Yeah. I'll take Brown over 15 for sure. That's pretty much it. John, I like the game. I think the game is going to be great.
Game.
I don't
it's
like anything on the Ravens side except for the fact that I saw Mark Andrews at like 22 and a half receiving yards.
Down to 24 and a half.
24 and a half. So it's moved up to 24 and a half. That's insane.
Hate's gone too far. The hate's gone way too far.
It's gone too far. The pendulum, it has to swing, John.
He actually hasn't.
John, hold on. Fuck it.
Oh,
The
here we go.
pendulum has to swing. It has to swing. It has to. Mark Andrews over 24 and a half receiving yards. There is about a 0% chance that this doesn't hit. Like, come on. I sat here looking at this.
Let me hear it.
Mark Andrews over 24 and a half receiving yards. Fucking book it. Put it on my
Beautiful.
card.
Yep. 2.5 receptions.
That's insane. It's insulting.
It isn't disrespect.
It's
gone
so
too far.
It's gone too far.
I think that's my lock of the week.
I think that's got to be a lock of the week. Like, that just seems like, are you kidding me? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What's going on? The whole world's burning. Like, people, like, what?
Yeah.
If that
Commanders have been really good against tight end, but the Commanders, they're still the Commanders. They're still the Commanders.
Friggin' matter. I've seen him catch 36-yard passes like it's nothing. So, I mean, I can't believe I just got somehow roped into that.
They're the best.
It's on the card now. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're. You know what? I'm gonna take the game over to New Orleans. Spencer Rattler is stepping in for Derek Carr. I think he's gonna struggle.
I was a Rattler believer.
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean that I don't think that he's a great quarterback. Like, I think give him some time. Give him some time. It's a tough spot. This is a really tough spot. Divisional game, tough spot. I think there's going to be an unusual amount of running from the Bucs in this game. If you can control the clock against him and force him to make mistakes, hey, like, chew the clock, try and run up the score by 10 points, and now watch. Once you're 10 points or more, watch the mistakes start happening. And I feel bad for him because it is a really tough spot. That's a tough defense. So I actually really like Bucky Irving here.
I wanted to say, yeah.
I don't know what the rush attempts are. I haven't even looked, but it's got to be somewhere around like 9.5 or 10.5.
It's got to be growing. I've actually got it in front of me here. Let me just quickly bring it up. So Bucky Irving is getting 60.5 rushing yards. The rushing attempts
it's got to be 15.
14.5.
Yeah, it's got to be 15. Oof.
Jesus. Oof.
I'm still, you know what? To be honest with you.
Oh, Rachaad White's not playing. That's why.
Yeah, give me the over. Give me the over. 14.5 rushing attempts.
Saints have not been great against the run as well.
It's the game plan. I just feel it. I smell it. It's the game plan.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Bucs injury report. Rachaad White is doubtful with a foot injury. He has not practiced all week. I'm looking at this as well because I think these Bucs corners are fairly injured at the moment.
But I get it. But
so Jordan Whitehead's questionable. Antoine Winfield is questionable as well. Levante David, I thought they cut him during the week.
Do they run the same scheme? Do the Saints run the same play calling, the same everything that they did with Derek Carr, where they're airing out one every 7, 8 pass attempts? No.
Dennis Allen does not strike me as that kind of play call. I think they'll be super conservative.
It'll be conservative. And you want to instill some confidence in this kid, and it's going to take a whole half,
right,
to get that confidence in. And if you're the Bucs, you take advantage of that. You just pound. The weakness of the Saints is their rushing, right? So it's rush defense. So hey, exploit it, pound the football. Bucky Irving. Like, if he's at 60, I'd be content with taking him over the 14.5 rush attempts and 60 rushing yards. Happily.
Yeah. Bucky Irving. So again, Bucky Irving was on my card as well. The thing is, I try not to, we've been on Bucky Irving every single week and we've been making money off him every single week, which has been phenomenal. Eventually I do like to give more varying picks because if we keep going after Deshaun Watson, after Bucky Irving, after all these players like who are emerging, like Chris Godwin has been phenomenal every single week, been making me money every single week. Like, I just want to give a couple more ideas, but yeah, Bucky Irving, I do like that one as well.
It's tough to not like it. That's the problem. And it's it
happened last year. Like we find these players who are just insane value, diamonds in the rough, and we just hammer them all season long.
Yeah, you just ride it. And this is one of those, and I just don't think too much about it. Just know that the Bucs are going to run the shit out of the football. So
yeah. All right. Speaking of, I said that the Jags are a bit of a dumpster fire at the moment, and they might not be the worst in the league, though, but because the Cleveland Browns have been horrible. Everything that's going on with that team at the moment is horrendous vibes, and their defense has basically given up on. I think everyone's just turning their back on the ownership, the coaching staff, the quarterback. It's all been just horrendous vibes, and that's been Cleveland's good stretch of teams that they've had to come up against. So Deshaun Watson, like the easiest teams in the league have been like, or defenses have been Jacksonville, the Giants, Vegas, the Commanders. Well, now they come up against the Eagles, who, look, Eagles corners you've been able to target, but I'm not on the Browns just for the record in this game. I'm on one king who's finally back from injury. He sustained an insane concussion the other week. But Devonta Smith in this spot is primed to have an awesome, awesome game. He's sitting at 55.5 receiving yards, and Cleveland cannot defend anybody.
That's very cheap. I actually, the 9.5 line here for the Eagles seems like too much for me. It does. But
you think it'll be closer than that?
I do. Devonta Smith though, that's so cheap for Smith. That's so cheap.
This is in Philadelphia.
That's so cheap.
Yeah. 55.5 for a guy who, so when AJ Brown was out and his line was 75.5, he was going over that. And he started the season in Green Bay with a line of 57.5. He went over that. He's actually, in every game he's played, he's been over his line every single time. So he's been getting at least 6 catches in every single game as well. And I think AJ Brown's going to have a really good game here as well. He's finally back. We haven't seen him since week 1, but Devonta Smith and like the other short guy who I'll mention soon is my other pick as well. These short, like if there's one thing I'm starting to learn that I've needed to switch my brain in, it's that small, undersized receivers can get a lot of success in this league now these days. It never used to be the case. I've always been like, like Tedero McMillan, who's coming up through the draft next year. I'm like, I love him. But I've also got to like hand it to some of these smaller receivers who are coming up as well.
Yeah, the speed plays through the middle. Look at Pop Douglas, right? Look at Pop Douglas, just making success. You know, the stats aren't massive, but it's consistent. You know,
look at dude. I'm going to talk about him in a second, but look at Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed is honestly one of the best receivers in the league, and he's he's as small as Devonta Smith.
Yeah, he's so shifty. He's a great player to watch. If you're an aspiring wide receiver, just look at the footwork. It's there. Yeah. You know?
He's phenomenal. So that's where I'm going to go with this game. I'm all over the Eagles in this game. I think they're going to smash them. I like the Eagles by 2 scores as well. At home, I think AJ Brown's going to go off. I think Devonta Smith is going to go off, but give me Devonta Smith, 55.5 receiving yards.
Pitching. John. The New England Patriots.
Oh, here we go again with this bullshit on the Patriots.
The New England Patriots are
they're starting a new quarterback.
They're starting a new quarterback, and their franchise, like the fans, are so excited. They're pumped. They wanted this player to trot out week 1. They were calling for it after preseason training camp. He looked like the better quarterback in the stable.
They even said so much.
He is the better quarterback. And there was a plan. I think the plan got expedited. And Jacoby Brissett's running for his life out there. Don't think for a second that Drake Maye won't be running for his life too. I think the difference is it's the intelligence to make the right play when you are running for your life. The Joe Burrow, a la the first year he came into the league and second year that he was in the league. The best quarterbacks find a way to make a play. There are 2 picks in this game that I really like. One is not even on the board yet, which is weird to me. But when I said earlier at the start of the show that I was a little bit early last week, I was really early on Antonio Gibson.
Yeah,
but that's a safety valve. That's definitely a safety valve. But they have Drake Maye sitting there. Can you pull up the stat line right now? I saw it at 167.5. It's probably moved over 170.
No, it hasn't. It's gone the other way. It's down to 161.
So he's at 161, John.
Yeah. Yep. On Bet365.
This game, everybody seems to think that Houston is going to just steamroll the Patriots in this game.
Yeah, and you know what? The Patriots low-key have Houston's number. This is one of those games where I know they're not division rivals, but the Patriots seem to always get the better of the Texans.
I don't believe that it's going to be the case. But let's just hypothetically say that it is the case, John.
Yeah.
Hypothetically say that the whole world is right and that you as a listener believe that I am dumb and Houston is going to beat the absolute piss out of the Patriots. What does that do for the play calling?
In a perfect world, it increases the pass attempts, but I don't know that. I think that this might be an exception to the rule.
You think so?
You know what I really like is Texans have given up at least 2 touchdowns almost in every single game. Drake Maye only needs 1 touchdown.
He does. So there's every friggin' stat line that sits there is just so juicy to me. Because, okay, so if it does go that way, and Houston they just clobber them. They clobber them. They go up, 21 points by the half.
Yeah.
Well, that whole back half of the game, nobody's running a football. It's short passes. So the completions, the pass attempts, they're all worth something. The yardage isn't going to come from rushing. You can't tell me that the Patriots are going to get sub 220 yards total in this game. Because who's running 60 yards as a running back? Nobody, I don't think, in this game. So you got to tell me that this team isn't going to get sub 220. So if they're not going to get sub 220, where do the yards come from? And this is where I see such like a massive disconnect in the line that is being presented and what actually happens in reality. I don't think that there's a situation on this planet where the Patriots aren't trying to throw this ball. I don't like at least 28 times, 30 times, somewhere around there. And
his pass attempts are sitting 28 and a half.
Right. So it seems so right to me. Between 28 and 30 seems so right.
He's got Drake Maye. His rushing yard prop line is 25 and a half.
I think he's going to be running for his damn life. But
yeah, I'd take the under on that.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to run the ball. Like, I think when he's outside the pocket, I think he's going to get rid of the ball. I think it's going to be try and just get the ball to somebody. And that's where I think like the running back makes a lot of sense. The possession receiver on the outside makes a lot of sense. I don't really follow a ton of the Patriots, so I don't know who that receiver is. Pop Douglas has been playing quite a bit in the middle. Jalen Polk's been on the outside, and I don't know who fits that. Is it Hunter Henry? Is he rushing to the sidelines? Is he playing on the flats? Or is it Gibson? And I'll put my money on Gibson in this one for three catches. I will also put my money on Drake Maye over 161 and a half yards passing. What? Like, give me Drake Maye. Give me over 161. That's
These lines for Drake Maye, they're all over the place. Usually, like, there's some sort of story to tell out of this, but I can't make much sense of this. So 161, I would probably stay off that personally. The game is in New England, so that he does have that going for him. So if anything, I would go over. There's other ways I would tack this though. I'd take over, half a passing touchdown. I like him for a 1. His pass attempts line is 28 and a half. His pass completions line is 17 and a half. And his longest pass line is 29 and a half. So I'm not envisioning explosive plays from Drake Maye in this game. I would take the under on 29 and a half, but I'd take the over on 17 and a half pass completions because I think this is going to be check down city.
Yeah. So, but okay. So I'm going to fight you on this one a little bit.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
So you say it's going to be check down city. So what happens when you're like a defensive play caller, when you are calling plays to stop what's coming in front of you? This is where the play action, like Bill Belichick is the king of this, right? He was the king of it with Tom Brady. It's like you don't expect the deep bomb, and when Bill's rushing, he'll friggin' rush the ball 14 times and then make you go like, God damn it, is he gonna rush this fucking football again?
Yeah.
Best way to give your quarterback a chance is to keep running similar things over and over again until the defense starts to commit to it.
Yeah.
So, notoriously, that franchise will run the same play over and over again until somebody beats it. Like, I will literally run this until you stop me. And the best way to give success to your quarterback is to just get a rhythm and to start succeeding. So you'll be more inclined, I think, to not diversify the playbook. You're going to find something that's working, and you're going to keep doing it. And you're going to keep doing it until the defense decides to shift. And then as a play caller, you have to decide when enough is enough. So if you think that, hey, the defense is now starting to shift to this side because we're forcing the ball this way, well, then you have to make a decision. Are we going to keep committing to this and frustrate the hell out of them, try and keep winning? Or are we going to take a shot? Are we going to change it up? And I would not be surprised if Drake Maye has 2 50-yard attempts in this game. 2. Maybe 3. Because they're going to be so used to the ball coming on the underneath. They're going to be so used to the ball going to the sideline. You're going to have to start committing. You're going to have to start pulling a player. If 1 or 2 of those breaks, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to have to start playing to that. And when that happens is when you have your opportunity, and then you take your opportunity. And as the game goes on, a little more comfort will happen. I wouldn't be surprised in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, 1 or 2 big shots to Jalen Polk or to whoever's the burner on the side. And taking the under on the longest would be, I'm going to fight you on that. I'm not going to take the over because I don't know if he'll complete it. But the sweat that I would have watching Drake Maye, play action rolls, everyone followed that way. Drake Maye is literally standing there on the opposite side of the field with nobody rushing at him, cocked man to man down the sideline. Jalen Polk, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to watch it in the game, and I'm going to go, oh, fuck, if I took the under, If I took the over, I'm going to be like, get up there, fall down. But, I'm not taking that. But, I know it's going to at least happen. It's going to happen. I just can't do the coin flip on it. But I know it's going to happen.
I think you said that perfectly. You've definitely persuaded me on this one. I understand exactly what you're saying. So all in all said and done, I'm not touching anything on this game. Nico Collins has just hit IR. That's very bad for CJ Stroud. It's very bad for
Tank.
Explosive plays. Good for Tank. Who I'm still glad I traded away Tank in Dynasty at the start of the season for a first round pick. That was great.
Great value.
But with Nico out, yeah, I think Diggs is going to have a great game. I mean, he'll probably be matched up on the Patriots. How's the Patriots defense been this season?
Christian, man. Honestly, the man-to-man on the corner, God, yeah. I would not want to play against the Patriots. I don't think Steph Diggs. I don't.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle in this one. So yeah, nothing I'm touching there. But no, I think you've said that perfectly, and I think you're right about that one as well. Looking forward to clipping that one.
Also, don't be surprised if the Patriots win this game. Don't be.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just think that no matter what the record is in their history, I think that the Patriots play Texans really hard. It's a great matchup for them. So especially at home. So. A couple more picks. Let's send this out the right way. I think I want to take a look at this Cardinals-Packers game. This one's in Green Bay. It is a 1:00 game. Thank Christ for that. So Cardinals been struggling again. I'm pretty sure all my picks are 1:00 games this week.
Good. You're learning. Yeah, you're learning.
Learning the hard way. Yeah. I want to take a look at, I talked about Jaden Reed when I was talking about Devonta Smith, and it's pretty much a carbon copy, same argument, just incredible route runner. I think Jaden Reed, he's got a line of 61.5. We were talking about him last week. He got up to I want to say his line was like 75.5. Do you remember calling that
Close
out
to
last
80.
week?
Yeah, by at the very end, it was close to 80. I thought
Against
to myself,
against the
how
Rams.
the hell is this guy going to hit this?
Yeah, and I was like, nah, I'm not touching that. Well, he got it. So,
He did. He did.
and the fact that, like, I think Buda Baker sort of strikes, I think he's sort of like on his way out. I still think Buda Baker's a really, really fantastic corner, but I think he's a bit done with the Cardinals. I've heard some rumors that he wants to move on to a team that can actually compete now.
This is a team you want to play zone against anyway, so you're going to have help.
Yeah.
But the Packers are going to pick him apart this game.
Yeah, and Christian Watson has just been a complete non-factor as well. So Romeo Doubs, haven't seen too much of him as well. It really is the Jaden Reed show. They've tried to get Dontavian Wicks involved. He's kind of come and gone. But, I mean, Cardinals have been bad against receiver ones, bad against Brandon Ayuk last week, had a tough time against Terry McLaurin. Even Amon-Ra, who's not been great. Amon-Ra is very boom or bust. Well, he boomed against the Cardinals. And then Khalil Shakir in week 1 as well. I think Jaden Reed's just a great player.
I do too. It's a great matchup. I also...
And he's gone over his prop lines pretty much every single week, except that game against Indy. That weird Malik Willis game.
The Cardinals have been selling out to a lot of the tight ends. They've been trying to keep the ball in front of them.
Yeah. Did you see Luke Musgrave has gone on IR? Fire the fuck up Tucker Kraft. Dude, he's going to go off. He's going to line 40.5 receiving yards.
That's a high number, but I think he's going to hit it.
I think so.
I also like it from the running back perspective.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs.
So Josh Jacobs as well. You know, I talked about at the start of the show how running backs have had a lot of success this season. This strikes me as a really good James Conner spot, because Kyler Murray's been playing really bad. Outside of that one game against the Rams, he's gone under 210 passing yards every single week. Meanwhile, James Conner has been, like, a lot of the ball's been funneled through him. And Packers are bad against the run as well.
A lot of hype on Benson.
Is that right? Really? I've not heard the hype on Benson.
A lot of hype. I think either way, I think you're in good shape. I think Benson will get more touches this game. I think that's what the drum is. The drum is give this kid a chance. And
he has no prop line on Action Network, Trey Benson.
Interesting. I'd be interested to see what his rush attempts are, because if they come in at like 6, I grabbed Chase Brown earlier this season at 5.5, and it was just disgusting. I stole it. That's what this seems like for me too.
Yeah.
If it's like 5.5, 6, like, give me that. But John.
So Trey Benson had a rush line at the start of the season of 30.5, and he was not getting that. So they dropped him down to 14.5 rushing yards against Washington.
Gross.
And he went over, of course. And then it's gone in the opposite direction now. So if he's still at 14.5, take that.
Yeah. That is stealing. Yeah. And same thing. It's just like get him at 5.5 to 7.5 carries, because there's no way he won't hit it. But I think you've got the right play there. It's a superstar play for me, and it seems iffy, but at the same time, my God, watching Reed play football, you go, God, he's going to carve the zone against this team. I think the Cardinals are going to have a hard time this game.
Right. I mean, he's one of those players. It's like, how was he not even on my radar coming out of college, coming out of Michigan State? And it's probably because he played for Michigan State.
Yeah, who could say that he was?
Well, the Packers valued him. He was like a second-round pick by the Packers. So they were on him early. And yeah, he was just someone who I never evaluated in college and completely missed him coming through the league.
But you've been beating his drum since last year. Like you're a trooper. I would call you.
Well, that's because he made me money every single week. He was one of those low-key players. Like if you look at my spreadsheets, I'll try and bring it up in this show. It's like just green. Just everything green, because no one knew anything about him. And I caught on to him by like week 4 and just hammed him all season.
Yeah. You know what? I remember all that last year, and I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if the kid's got it. Like, I don't know if he's got it. And you were like, no, seriously. Every single week. Seriously.
He got it. Everyone was talking about, is it Christian Watson? Is it Romeo Doubs? Who's going to emerge as the receiver one? Well,
we're getting Reed at 28 to 33 yards every single week. It was like
1.5 catches, 2.5 catches, and he was getting like 4 every single game consistently.
Disgusting. Yeah. Now the world understands. They're on John's level right now. But yeah, anyway, so you got that. You want to lock that? You want to give me that pick, like with some conviction? You want to give me that?
Jaden Reed. What was the line? Jaden Reed over 61.5 receiving yards. Book that one in.
That was very salesman-y of you. Book that one in.
Book that one in. We'll give you 10% off. Hey, do you have any more picks? I've got two more, like...
I don't. This is where what we were talking about earlier when I said, like, I don't want to go too deep because I already went one more over with Mark Andrews with the pendulum thing.
Yeah.
I want to call it. I want to call it there for myself. However, in the prime time, I'm going against everything that I said I would go for.
Yeah, tell me.
So Tracey actually only had
one. Oh, gross. The primetime game is Bengals and Giants. Fuck.
Yeah. So Tracey only had one. Stop. Tracey only had one completion last game. He rushed for a bajillion yards. I can assure you that the Bengals will be selling out the run. Like they'll be stacking a box this entire time. Tell you what you want to do when you're playing Daniel Jones without Malik Neighbors. I'll tell you. Want to guess? Do you want to guess what your defensive strategy is going to be coming into this week? Prime time?
Neighbors is back?
No, he's out. Concussion.
Oh, he's out again.
So what do you think all week long, knowing that you're going in prime time, knowing that you've been the second worst defense in the entire league, that you've been scrutinized over and over again. You held 2 players only meetings this week and spoke to the media after one of them as a defensive unit. What do you think the Bengals are going to do this week?
Tell me.
They are going to stack the hell out of the box, and they're going to make sure that nobody can run the hell all over them, and they're going to force Daniel Jones to make stupid decisions.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
This is a Giants team coming off a freaking win as well in Seattle. So that was their Super Bowl. Big letdown spot for them here.
Danny Jones is still going to get 15 completions. Minimum. Wan'Dale Robinson's not getting 11 this game. I'll tell you that.
You don't think so?
Wan'Dale Robinson's going to get 5, 6.
That dude's a stud. I just talked about Devonta Smith, Jaden Reed. I'd throw Wan'Dale Robinson in there. I love him, man.
He's going to have a half decent game. Don't get me wrong. He's going to have a half decent game. But I'll tell you that Tyrone Tracy is going to catch 3 footballs. I think he's going to catch 3 footballs, and his receiving total line, I don't know what it is, but it's got to be fucking 7, 8, maybe 10.
He had 18 rush attempts last week for 129 yards. Do you remember when you got him at 9.5 rushing yards?
I got him at 9.5 rushing yards. It was disgusting, John. I should have literally put this house.
I know.
On it.
I know.
No, it's hilarious.
Okay, he had one catch. He had one catch last week for 1 yard.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. John. That won't happen again. The game script is going to change.
He's not listed in the receptions.
That will come out on Sunday. So when you've gone through your whole day of picking and you're there for Sunday to put a multi-leg parlay in, I will tell you that the books are going to go so heavy on his rushing total. It's going to be somewhere around like 70 something, which he won't get. And they're going to devalue his receiving because Eric Gray was there catching, and this whole backfield is going to run through Tracey in this game. And it's going to come through the air. So if you can get him at 1.5 and you can get him over 10.5, if you can get him anywhere underneath 20 yards, and I'd take him up to 3, over 2.5 receptions. Tyrone Tracy for a primetime pick. I hate doing it. I fucking hate doing it. And I hate doing it, especially when it's against Bengals.
Your team. Yeah.
But it's just so easy. It's just so easy. Tyrone Tracy over 1 reception. It just seems even. It's just like, come on. What? In that game, when the Bengals are beating the snot out of him? Over 1 reception and over 10 or whatever the hell yardage they give him. Just take the overs on all the receiving for Tyrone Tracy. Just do it. Just do it. You're welcome. And that's that.
I haven't had a look at this game, to be honest. I'm into what Tee Higgins is doing at the moment, but he's gone from his receptions lines have gone from 3.5 to 4.5. Jamar Chase is interestingly, his reception line is 5.5. It's been 6.5 all season. And he had a great game last week against the Ravens. So is this game in Cincy? No, it's in New York. So
no, it's in New York.
Yeah, so I don't mind Jamar Chase in this game. Joe Burrow has been playing a lot better. Did you see, we both now suffer from this. There was a stat going around after week 2 or 3 that teams that lose 2 games in a row really struggle to make the playoffs. Teams that lose 3 games in a row really, really, like, only like 4 teams have ever come back to make the playoffs. So your Bengals sit in that spot, and my Seahawks now sit in that spot after losing to the Giants last week. So
I think the Bengals are going to beat the hell out of the Giants in this game.
You do?
I do. Yeah, I really do. I really do. Not because I'm a homer, but I just think they're going to beat the shit out of them.
Let's send this show out, is what I'm trying to say.
Let's wrap up the picks. John?
I just want to finish with 2 quick ones. I'm really into 2 get right spots. So Bijan Robinson has not been very good in the rushing department. Algier has been very good. I see this as a massive get right game for Bijan Robinson. The Falcons are playing the Carolina Panthers, who are absolute garbage at stopping the run. And the other one, don't think too hard into it. Breece Hall, the Jets, Monday Night Football, are playing the Bills. The Bills also been very, very bad against the run. And I think you're going to get a decent line for Breece Hall because his rush line has been sitting around 63.5 and he's not been getting it. Bills are bad against the run. I think this is a massive get-right game for Breece Hall.
Those are both great picks, John, and I think it does kind of go against the grain, too. I think it goes against Public because Public has been burned hard by both of those running backs.
Right. And I think everyone's really down on them at the moment, and I think that this is the get-right spot because they're incredible. They're both incredible players.
Okay, John, just wrap up your picks for me. I want to hear them. Put them all in order, and let's... If somebody wants to fast forward in the friggin' video and just get this section, make it nice.
I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby over 40.5 rushing yards. Or you could even go Travis Etienne in that spot. I'm fine with both. I want to go Terry McLaurin over 58.5 receiving yards. I want to go Devonta Smith over 57.5 receiving yards against the Cleveland Browns. I really like Jaden Reed over 65.5 receiving yards against the Cardinals. I think that's in a really, really good spot. We talked a little bit about James Conner as well, and if he's got a rush line of 64.5, I'm really into that one as well. And then just finish with Bijan, Breece Hall, look out for them. I think they're going to be really good picks as well.
Good, John. Okay. Round the bend here. I'm on Tank Bigsby as well, but in that game, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the alt lines for Tank and for Swift. On DraftKings, you can knock both of them down. Tank, I think you'll probably be able to get him around like 32 or 33 yards. And DeAndre Swift, you're going to be able to get him around the same. I'll take him all the way up to 40, without a doubt. 42 even. Take him up to 42. Staying on the topic of the running backs, we're going to go to the Buccaneers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Irving. Bucky, I don't know what his line is, but it's going to be somewhere around 40, and I'm taking it. I'm 100% taking it. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the New England Patriots, where the rookie quarterback steps in and he throws for over 161 passing yards, and Antonio Gibson catches at least 3 of those. And that's it. Well, let's roll.
That sounds good. Just some programming notes. I have not been doing Thursday night football games. I started a new job, been really busy, but I'm working myself into a really good groove now. So I'll be back next week for Broncos at Saints. Got some great picks to come out of that one.
That's going to be a rough game. Okay, anyway, Johnny boy, cue the drums. Let's go.
Don't let the game play you. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly. In Australia, phone 1-800-858-858 for free and confidential support. In Canada, learn about safer play at Know the Risks from the Responsible Gambling Council at knowtherisks.ca. In America, must be 21 or older and present in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. Colorado, gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Connecticut, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Indiana, gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Kansas, gambling problem, getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start or call 1-800-GAM-1234. In Michigan, gambling problem, call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. In New York, for help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Tennessee, gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Prop Nation betting show is for entertainment purposes only and should in no way be considered financial advice.